Hi, I'm Merrick D'Amato,
And I'm Classic Gamer.
and welcome back to Narwhal and Classix Post-Play Podcast. And happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween.
We are doing a game I was actually suggested to play by Classix.
Yep. Yep,
You
indeed.
got a lot to answer for, mate. No, it's fine.
Excuse me.
This is Curse the Eye of Isis.
Yeah.
And boy, do I curse this game.
Yeah. It was a game that I discovered before I think it was before we started talking more because when we first started talking it was mostly over email, wasn't it? And then we sort of spoke more than on the phone for the first time.
It wasn't really email, it was YouTube comments and Discord.
Yeah, it was YouTube comments, then emails. It was very, very subtle, very not very much at all. And I discovered this game, and I think I played it from one of my Halloween specials, and I never heard of it, and I was like, "What the hell is this game?" And I played it, and I was like, "You know what? This is actually pretty okay." I didn't like the second half of the game on the ship.
Neither did I.
Yeah, so we share a common agreement there, or an agreement there. But I thought the game was a nice kind of it's obviously it's a Resident Evil clone. You have got kind of like a chest and stuff like that you have to put. Even though it's just the worst decision thing in the world, where you have to put all your stuff in the box in order for the female character, which we'll get onto later, to use, and then switch them all back when you switch back to what's his name?
I think it's Darian Dane.
Yeah. And the girl is called something different. But
Victoria Sutton.
Yeah, she was the one that's at the you start off with you trying to get into the British Museum in London. It's 1830s, 18 something.
Now, I had a problem with the game, not a major problem, because I still basically enjoyed myself when it was at the beginning in the British Museum. Mm-hmm. I liked this. It's a Resident Evil style game in the British Museum with the mummies and the exhibits. That's actually pretty interesting. Why does this guy's voice, though, there's something about this guy, this Darian guy, that's pissing me off. That's rubbing me the wrong way. There's something I don't like about this guy. And it turns out another game I Let's Played this year, because my Let's Play of this game came out this Halloween. Another game I Let's Played this year, Dracula 3 Path of the Dragon, the truly, truly terrible game, which is a contender for worst game I've ever played. Even it might be close to beating out Da Vinci Code just by being longer. He is the voice of the irritating as fuck main character of that, Father Arno Dorian. Now, and I hated that game. And
who's
so
the main
you're
character
back.
in Curse called again?
Pardon?
Who's the main character in Curse called again?
Darian Dane.
Okay, so Darian. I thought you said Darian twice. It's Darian and Dorian. Oh God.
Father Arno Dorian. Yeah. No, not Arno Dorian. It's Father Arno something. Let me just double check. Arno Dorian is Assassin's Creed, I think.
Yes. Dorian, I think, is Assassin's Creed. Unity, I believe. The father
it is Arno. It is Arno something. It's Arno Moriani. My bad.
Okay.
But his father, and he's also in something else. A much more famous game.
What game?
He plays the unlikable, uninteresting protagonist who fights his apartment and is attacked by giant lice at work, Lucas fucking Kane of Indigo Prophecy. This fucking guy, I knew there was a reason I
he is
hated
in
this.
Fahrenheit.
Yep, he's in Fahrenheit.
Or in Indigo Prophecy, as it's called in America. I mean, that's the same guy who plays the guy in Curse and in
That's the
Path of
same guy who plays Darian Dane and Dracula 3 Path of the Dragon. I
Oh,
hate this fucking voice actor.
God. I'm never going to be able to look at fucking Fahrenheit again in the same way. But he's good
So
in that game. He's actually good. In
the
Fahrenheit,
thing is,
he's actually he's good.
I hated Father Arno so much that it kind of spoiled Curse for me because I immediately hated the character by association. I hated Darian.
But it's not the same character. You have to remember that.
I know it's not the same character, but also I have problems with Darian anyway, because he is essentially irrelevant to the plot of Curse, and Victoria should have been the only playable character.
Yeah. Well, now
Or
we've got past
al-
Merrick's hatred of the
alternatively,
character.
alternatively, they should have done it not swapping between the two characters because that was a massive weakness in the game. That dragged it down a lot. Just do the Leon and Claire thing. Have each one have their own story.
Yeah.
That intertwine, like
What version
Leon
did
and
you play,
Claire
by the
or
way?
Chris and Jill. Pardon?
What version did you play?
PC.
PC. I played the PS2.
Same game, basically.
Yeah, but you can use a controller on PS2.
But you can use it on PC. Actually, which did I play? I know I used the controller.
Well, I know if you
Maybe I
can
did
use
play maybe I did play the PS2.
if you've got a game that you on PC that can use the keyboard, you tend to use the keyboard.
That's not true.
Is it not true?
I use the keyboard if it's a first person shooter
Oh
or
yes.
Splinter Cell. If I'm playing an action game, I'm like a third person action game like your Devil May Cry. I'm playing a controller.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
My bad.
Dead Rising 2, we have to play with a keyboard because it doesn't support a controller.
Really?
Or at least it's one of the it supports an Xbox 360 controller, which I don't have. And any old USB controller won't cut it for some reason. It's one of those, it's one of
Oh
those
yeah, it's
deals.
a bit like one of my. It's not a great game, but one of my favorite games that I've played is like In Cold Blood from Revolution Software. It's probably one of their worst games, but they wanted to kind of have a gap in between the Broken Sword games, so they created a stealth agents espionage kind of game where you're John Cord and you're British agent who's been captured, and you have to piece through your memories to find out who betrayed you and why. And I've been watching an LP that I've watched before of this guy trying to use a keyboard for this game, and John Cord moves like a tank, but when you try and replicate that on keyboard, it's not particularly easy. And I've tried to get a controller to work with that game for a long time, and it just won't work. You have to I think one person said, "Oh, I use like a Logitech old gamepad, and that worked." But I bought a Logitech gamepad to see if I can get it to work, and it didn't work. So if I can
So
get games to work with a controller, I will use a controller. But I think the way the game starts in Curse is the atmosphere is set up really, really well. Even though I got stuck in the main hall when I first played it, and I was wandering around for ages, having no idea where to go.
fortunately, every time I've gone to visit London as a tourist, I've spent an inordinate of time in the British Museum, so I know it like the back of my hand. It's like, oh, good, it's raining. Let's go to the British Museum.
Yeah, well, if it's gonna rain and you're in London, you need to get inside somewhere preferably that's free, so you're not
And if
queuing out in the rain.
you're in London, it's going to fucking rain.
Yep. Because our weather is notoriously bad for being unpredictable.
It's funny. The same trip we went to Inverness.
Oh yeah,
That's where the Loch is, the Loch Ness.
yeah.
It
Loch Ness
it rained
monster.
it rained less.
I'm
It rained
surprised.
less on the actual lake in Scotland than it did in fucking London.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Well, as I said, our British weather is notoriously unpredictable.
Well,
But
one thing very much makes up for it though, because in hotels and they have the breakfasts and everything, and nothing's better on a cold, rainy morning than a nice English breakfast.
I don't really like English breakfast. I'm a fussy eater, so that explains that.
You don't like the sausages, the egg, the tomato, all that delicious, the beans and all that.
No,
Yeah.
I, I, I. When I look at a tomato, it gives me like shivers down me. It just like the way it looks.
I have bad news for you about Italian food though.
Oh
It's
God.
like all tomato based.
Oh yeah, just like the smell of tomato ketchup, just all sorts like that. Just yeah.
I I can't pronounce it I can't pronounce tomato the way you did.
Well, I say tomato sauce.
Because I can't say tomato. I can't do it.
Well, I say tomato. So
Good. Because my entire primary school life was jokes about that and my name, D'Amato. You
why was that?
understand.
Why was it jokes?
D'Amato, tomato. Because they're children and they're not good at insults.
Fair enough. Anyway,
So you're exploring the British Museum.
yeah, and you
Um,
don't get let in first of all because the police are there. We've got it under control, sir. Don't worry. You know,
and he gets
typical.
killed by a mummy.
Well, they have to they get taken away, don't they, by another emergency or something?
I think they get possessed.
Not outside, they don't. Later on, you do find a
Well,
couple
the ones
possessed.
inside, like they get possessed by the Eye of Isis.
Yeah, yeah. So you
Um,
you slip
oh,
inside.
just to clarify, this is Isis, the Egyptian god, wife of Osiris. No, wife of Ra. The wife of Osiris, not the terrorist group. Just so we're clear.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's based on an Egyptian eye, um, not the
One thing I quite liked about the design of Darian, actually,
Well,
is he remind. Pardon?
you like the design of the character.
I really liked his design because the way he's dressed and like his face and everything reminds me of. Are you familiar with the Hammer films?
They ring a bell.
Because he looks a lot like Peter Cushing's character in the Mummy, their Mummy film, Curse of the Mummy, Horror of the Terror of the Mummy, something like that. It's same vest, same short rolled up sleeve, white shirt, same hair, and I really like British horror films, so that was fun.
Yeah. So
You get your melee weapon, which is it's a truncheon.
yeah, well, when you're in the main lobby, you have to like you can wander around. You try to go into an office, and the guy there won't let you in unless you get him his glasses, and then you get into like the corridor where like the you can go into the bathrooms or the toilets, and then you wander around.
And in a rare first for a game like this, in the stalls at this point, there are no monsters.
Yeah, not for a little while at least.
Because usually, if you're in a freaking Resident Evil style game and you open a bathroom stall, there will be monsters.
You're gonna get someone jump out at you.
Always
But
is
in
the
this
law.
one, you don't. Um, so I think you meet the guy who wanders around helping you at this point.
Abdul, I think.
Yeah. Who is not? Who's
He
good?
just, I like him. I don't like what he's for, though.
I don't like the fact that when he appears and then like later on you then see him in another thing and just like ran. Oh, it's like how the fuck did you get in here before I did?
Why aren't you that? Why aren't we playing as you?
No, it's just like he appears in like another save room, but yet you've had to get through a locked door to get in there to see him. It's like, how
I
did you get?
think I think I forgot his name at one point and just kind of called him Sulla because he feels the same like Sulla from Raiders of the Lost Ark. He's there so you can transfer items between. He's your save point, and you can transfer items between Darien and
The female?
Victoria.
Yeah.
He is very much and very overtly not the merchant from Resident Evil 4.
No, he's not.
He should have been.
I think that they
I
could have.
bet you're playing this, you're minding, and then freaking a pirate shows up in this hooded coat, like, "Hello, stranger. What are you buying?"
Yeah, I think they kind of like messed it up a little bit in the remake with the way that the merchant sounds.
One thing about this, like the weapon loadout, the weapons for this game are pretty normal,
Average?
average. You have the truncheon, you have a revolver, you have a rifle. I think there's a shotgun. And
Can't
there's
remember.
this weird magic Egyptian thing, probably. I remember.
I don't remember
But
there
then
being.
there's one. There's I think there's a crossbow too, but there's one. There's one weapon that's weird.
What?
They decided that mummies have to be killed with a flamethrower with fire to be properly dead. So they had to find some way to contrive a Victorian flamethrower, which you find in one of the exhibits.
Hmm.
I think it would have been better to do like an Evil Within, where you just like drop a match on them or something, or you have a torch instead, like not a battery operated torch, like a proper flaming torch is your weapon instead of the truncheon,
Yeah.
because the flamethrower just seems weird.
Yeah, it does. I remember you getting a flamethrower. Okay. Right, sorry about that. My action decided it wanted to. Well, not my action. My baddie cam decided it wanted to crash again.
Fair. Did it actually get the recording?
Yeah, I haven't checked, but I'll check afterwards. Okay, I'll check now quickly while we're doing that. So just carry on and I'll still talk while I'm doing this.
So what are we doing?
Well, I've restarted, but
Okay.
I'm just double checking. Yes, it has recorded. Yes, it has.
Beautiful.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. We had another technical problem like we did with the Land of the Dead. I
Oh,
don't know why.
I do want to correct something I said on Land of the Dead, actually.
Oh yeah.
When I mentioned the swan dive and my favorite level being the hospital, not correct. It is the police station that has the swan dive.
Okay, fair enough.
But yes, so I the flamethrower. I get what they're going for with it, and I have seen other games do this slightly better. Because I played another game set in the same time period. You're familiar with Van Helsing, right? The Hugh Jackman movie.
Yeah, I know about Van Helsing. Yeah.
There's a video game of that where you do find a freaking minigun. You find a chain gun. However, it's a much less serious game than this because it's a straight up action game, it's not a horror game.
Yeah.
And it's the Gatling gun you see being tested at the beginning of the movie.
I've not seen the movie, but
I recommend. It's not great, but it's fun.
who plays Van
It gets a
Helsing?
lot of hate. Pardon?
Who plays Van Helsing?
Hugh Jackman.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, and his assistant Carl is played by Faramir from Lord of the Rings.
Wow.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to watch it.
It's a good movie.
So
Alan Armstrong's in it too.
who?
Alan Armstrong,
What's he been in? I know.
everything.
Okay.
He's a British character actor. He's I think most notably, you've seen The Mummy Returns, right?
Yep.
He's the curator of the British Museum.
Oh, the old guy.
Yeah, not in the first one because he dies. In the second one,
Yeah,
he's the
yeah,
evil
yeah.
one who
He's
works
the
for
one that puts
Emotep.
his hand in the thing at the end and
Yes,
gets his hand like chewed
and
down
gets
to it.
ripped apart by the Scorpion King.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, the guy who plays Benny in the first Mummy,
Mm.
he returns as Igor.
What in this Van Helsing?
Yes,
Oh, I'm gonna have
and
to watch.
Robbie Coltrane plays Mr. Hyde.
Well, Hagrid.
Yeah,
That's unbelievable.
it's
Anyway,
a brilliant movie. I love it.
yeah, I'll have to watch it. But so yeah, so you go through the different areas of the museum.
You
Um,
mainly find your main goal is to find keys to unlock other areas to finally get to where the actual eye is.
and you have to find Victoria because that's what the first thing you
Yep.
need to find. You also go through the torture chamber, the torture room, which I love. I like going through. I think that's a nice, it's a cool room.
Hmm.
You got like the rack and the fucking axe and the stocks and stuff like that because the rack was a very famous torture device that was held at the Tower of London
Mhm.
in the very early sort of 15th, 16th centuries. And
I'm familiar with the rack.
yeah, but for those
I
who
think
aren't,
they are too. It's one of the most standard. It's one of the most basic torture devices.
but it's also one that is especially in England that it was only used um, for you had to get the king to sign off on it. In other words, so like with Guy Fawkes, for example, because we're not very far away from Firework Night either, about a month or
Remember,
so.
remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder treason and plot.
Yep,
I know of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot.
I don't know that bit past. Remember the first of
I only
November.
know what they say in the movie V for Vendetta.
I'm just trying to find top or something because I'm getting a bit chilly, but I can't seem to find my.
So you meet Victoria. You do eventually find the eye after you fight a grizzly bear. You fight a reanimated grizzly bear.
Yeah, I remember doing that. And you have to get it to fall into a bookcase or something, don't you?
Yeah. You and then Victoria gets captured after you play as her for a bit.
I have to read.
Also, all the while there's this weird ninja lady running around too.
Yeah, she kind of fires at you at the start,
Yeah,
and
because she thinks you're with the bad guys.
yeah, and she says that if you get in my way, the next one won't miss.
Yeah.
Usual threats.
Usual threats. This exact same character shows up in Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb.
Does she?
Not the same like person, but the same type of character. Yeah,
Excuse me. Wow, I didn't. That's that's cool.
but she's Chinese in that, obviously.
So
You
you do play as Victoria. Always when what's his name gets knocked out by something. Um,
and by the way, Darian getting not conked on the head or tripping and hitting his head is a recurring gag throughout the game.
yeah,
It happens enough that it's funny.
I think I started playing it again for this year's Halloween's on
Mhm.
my end. but I kind of got to the library, got stuck, and gave up.
Understand? I've been to the actual British Museum's library. It is huge.
I've not been to the British Museum in a long time.
Unfortunately, you can't actually do anything at the British Museum's library though, because to look at any of the books, because you have to like have an appointment and have a meeting and like reserve the book.
Yeah.
That's not for that's a room that's it's not for tourists. That's for researchers and stuff.
It's understandable because they've got a lot of stuff in that library that would be like about the history of Britain and the very well the vast history. When I've had people in my past who said oh British history is not that old. It's like no, it's 2,000 years. You know, and
Eventually, Victoria gets captured, and you have to pursue her for take a shot, a sewer level.
I don't remember the sewer level.
You
Not
have to
well.
go through the sewers to get to the docks.
Isn't it to the train station though, as well?
Oh yeah, but you have to go through the sewer. You have to go to the sewer to get to the train station. I hate sewer levels. Everyone hates sewer levels.
I remember the train station because you fought this big boss that was like metal. It was like made of metal bits, and I struggled to beat him.
And then from the train, they take her to a boat, and you have to go kill everyone on the boat and find her.
And the boat is probably the single most annoying
I hate
level
the
in the
boat. I
game.
hate the boat so much. I despise the boat.
Yeah, I can't stand it
It's
either.
so long too. It's so boring. It's long and it's boring.
Also the other thing as well, when you're wandering around in the boat, there's no clear indication of where you need to go.
Nope.
Like there's no real kind of like, the guy who turns up and helps you in all the save rooms, he doesn't go, oh, you need to go here next. It's like there's none of that real help.
Because it's one of those where you can do things out of order, but it won't progress if you do.
I didn't know you could
It's
do
a
it out
weird
of order.
well, you can find it's very like it has to be done in exact order. It's weird. And there's no clear indication.
No. I don't like games that don't give you a clear indication of what you need to do.
It's not a good game. You go along, you fight a goat. I hate the goat. I hate this fucking goat so much. I think you fight him as Victoria. I call him Bastard. I call him Return of Bastard. I call it the Return of Bastard Goat because Bastard Goat was a video in my first ever Halloween special, way back in the day. Was Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2, and there's a level where, by the way, Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2. If you don't know, you play as Count Dracula.
Oh god.
And there's this fucking forced stealth section where this freaking like goat man with a spear, if you make any noise or he sees you, he will insta kill you. I'm just going through like, why do I have to sneak around? I'm fucking Dracula. Why am I stronger?
Why can't you just turn yourself into a bat?
You don't have that ability.
What? You're fucking Dracula.
You can turn yourself into a bunch of bats and like do your essentially the blink from Dishonored. You have to sneak around enemies because you're not strong enough to take them on head on. It's like, but I'm Dracula though.
In the words of you, that's fucking stupid.
Yes, it is fucking stupid.
I can't. No matter what I try, I cannot rectify when you go and we've reached full stupid that you do in Da Vinci Code. I can't rectify that. And we've reached full stupid.
There is one option that makes Castlevania 2 Lords of Shadow 2 worth playing.
What?
You can turn off QuickTime events.
Oh, yes.
Just disable, and you don't have to do them.
Oh God, please, can other games do this? just please, just do that. It's just just enough said there.
You kill the goat. It's not fun, and then you get to Egypt.
Oh yeah,
I actually kind of like the Egypt level, going through the tombs and stuff. You
yeah.
fight like a female
It
version of the Scorpion King.
it's they're good levels. I mean, they're not terrible. I remember, um, I think it's like you do get quite a few mummies popping up though.
Yes, but by this point I've accepted those as like the main villain, the main enemy of the game.
Say that again, sorry.
But by this point I've accepted them as they're the main enemy, is the mummies.
Oh yeah.
So it makes sense for fighting more of them.
But so what is it after this? Do you play as Victoria again though, don't you?
Yeah, you play as Victoria, and then you fight a boss as Darien, this like scorpion lady. It's
I
kind of
need
like
to.
the Scorpion King, but female. It's a temple guardian.
I think I need to play the game again to remember.
Fight that. Go through more. You get the Eye of Isis back to where it belongs in the tomb, where it was stolen from originally, which cursed Victoria's family. Darien is utterly uninvolved in the entire fucking plot of this, by the way. Um, and then you find the villain of the game, this like big, kind of like Kingpin, but Middle Eastern
Yep.
man. You find out he's like some elder god, like Nyarlathotep dude. So you
Do
fight
you?
him. Yeah, he's some kind of like Egyptian demon in disguise. He's the final boss.
Oh, that's how much I remember about this game.
And you beat him happily ever after. The curse on the Sutton family has been broken. Darien still had no fucking reason to be here from a story perspective, because he has nothing to do with the plot of this. Because it's not like the curse is on the Dane family and the Sutton family. The curse is just on the Sutton family, and Darien just happened to show up.
Yeah,
It's
I need to replay it to remember.
Then Abdul's like, "I was here too," and then you get the credits.
Yeah, I definitely like. I do. I remember like the museum. I remember the boat because who doesn't not remember the boat? But
We can say now, boat is the worst level.
yeah, boat is the worst level. So we're on to favorite part.
British Museum.
I would agree with that. I would say going through like the torture room. I think that's really my favorite bit.
It's not even for me. It's not even the best game, like best British Museum I've seen in a video game, though.
I
This
have seen the
part
British
also,
Museum in another game.
because one notably is in one of the Sherlock Holmes games, Sherlock Holmes versus Arsène Lupin, aka Sherlock Holmes' nemesis.
Yeah.
You're going around the British Museum at one point because he said he'd steal. Arsène sent Sherlock a message saying he'd steal something from the British Museum, and you get to fully explore the Greek and Roman wings,
The Greek what?
the Greek and Egyptian wings, like wings of the library,
Oh
the
yeah.
collection. You get to fully explore those. It's great.
Oh, it sounds good.
You're just walking around the British Museum looking at actual exhibits. It's like a virtual British Museum. I love it.
But in more sort of like
But
Sherlock
you're
Holmes
trying to
time.
find what he's stealing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the British
The
Museum has.
premise the premise of that Sherlock Holmes game, I think you're gonna like.
Go on.
Because Watson's reading the paper like, oh, this thief Arsène Lupin said he'd steal a bunch of like valuable stuff from England, and Sherlock Holmes is playing his violin like, I don't care, Watson, shut up. And then it's oh, he also said he's smarter than you and you're a moron. It's like, all right, the game is on. We have to catch him. How dare he call me? How dare he claim to be smarter than me? I am Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah,
Thus
like
begins the challenge.
Sherlock Holmes is not someone that you really want to argue with.
I'll say Lupin and Sherlock Holmes have kind of a Batman and Riddler relationship in this game.
What in Nemesis, yeah.
In them, like if Moriarty is Sherlock's Joker, I'll say is his Riddler.
Fair enough. I'm not. I can't really like. I find the Sherlock Holmes games like really puzzly, and I don't like games that are like.
All right, get a clay pipe, and whenever you're trying to solve a puzzle, like put it in your mouth and do the Sherlock Holmes thing.
I have to remember
And
that.
it'll make sense.
Okay, so for you, least favorite part?
Boat.
Yeah, agreed.
No, didn't even need to think of it. Just boat. Fuck the boat.
Yeah, fuck the boat. Fuck wandering around in that fucking those empty corridors, not knowing what to do.
Oddly, a way I'd improve this game, I'd probably cut Darian out of it.
I think he's all. I think
not just because I hate not just because the voice actor pisses me off, because he was in one of the worst games I've ever played, but
I can't believe that game is actually going to beat bloody Da Vinci Code.
Almost, it's very close. It's just it's longer. It wins
because we both know how much you do not like Da Vinci Code.
The thing, like the fact that that there's just so much more of it pushes it a little past Da Vinci Code. But it's not that, which is the reason I think Darian should have been cut, is it's really Victoria's story. She's the one, she's the archaeologist, she's the one who understands any of this shit. He's just a dude. She's the archaeologist. She's the one with the family curse. She's the one who knows Abdul. She's the one looking for her father.
But
she has all the actual story.
I thought originally that they were brother and sister.
No. No.
Okay, that explains.
They might have been, and then it got rewritten, but
it does seem like that. I'm gonna have to replay it because my memory of it. I think I played it in 2017 or something. So
yeah, it's not the worst game I've ever played, and it has a really good beginning and a pretty good ending, but it's just the middle where it falls.
Yeah, I think it. It tries to do a lot of things in certain ways and just doesn't always succeed in the things it wants to do right. But
I honestly feel it would have been a better game if it didn't leave the British Museum.
Yeah, but there's only a certain amount you could do in one location.
Tell that to Resident Evil 1.
Hang on.
Right.
Sorry, that was my home phone that rang.
Worries, mate. Are we still recording?
Yes, I just have to mute my mic.
I disagree about that, because Resident Evil 1 is all in the Spencer Mansion.
Yeah, and Resident Evil 2 is all in the, well, it's mostly 75% of it is in the police station.
Yeah.
But
and
no,
the thing is,
you can do.
There is I guess it's hard to do with a small limited location, but the British Museum, even in the 1800s, there's a lot there. And it doesn't have to be all the. You can go down into the storage areas, all the vaults. There's a lot there potentially.
Yeah, maybe they only could do a certain amount of it, because they would have gone to the museum to get an idea of what was there. I think. So I think it depends on how much they're allowed to look at. It's like, with certain games or certain films or games where they go across to a country and look at different parts of London or other places to get it like right. So, like for example, in the Getaway games, there are a lot of shops in those games where like it's the Carphone Warehouse, but obviously that's now basically gone out of business, or like certain other shops that they didn't have the rights to, so they just changed it. And some of the cars as well were different, as an example. But what would you score it?
Probably give it a 5.
Hmm, I'd
Because
say
the opening and the opening being good and the ending being okay, does not make up for the middle being that bad.
yeah. I think the beginning, it was a strong beginning, um, a a a middle, a bad sort of like towards the end game with the boat is when it started going downhill. I think for me, I think if I was to score it, I think I'd give it. Maybe a 7. I think I think what it tries to do, I think it tries its best to do something right. But I just think it doesn't always succeed in what it wants to do. Um,
I think they could like taken more time to make this one. Would have
yeah,
turned out a little
I
better.
think I wouldn't say it was rushed, um, but I think they could have improved on it, and maybe one day, because it is when
What I think would have worked really well for this game is to not make it a Resident Evil style game necessarily, but wait till Evil Within came out and make it more like Evil Within, but in this setting would have worked a lot better for it.
Evil Wing came out on PS3 and this came out on PS2.
That's what I'm saying. Not have waited years before, like
Yeah,
if it came out later or earlier.
Evil Within was made by a group of developers that were like ex
I,
Capcom.
I know. But I'm just saying that as this game is, the PS2 wasn't the place for it. PS3 would have been a place for it, and PS1 would have been a place for it. Like this would have been great on the PS1, but as it is, nah, just didn't do it for me.
I think it's a shame that because I suggested to you, think you
I
probably.
don't, I don't hold that against you.
Oh no, I know you don't. I suggested it because I thought I know you would have liked it. I think you probably would have I know not overall, but I think well, not overall. I think you would say it's a good. It tries hard to do some things well, but I think its thought process of it, or in theory it's good, but the execution is not well done. Um, I think that's a
And it's
fair.
for me, just personally, once you have tank controls in your game, you're already fighting an uphill battle for me with me personally to have a good time with it.
Mm,
I don't like tank controls.
yeah, no,
Like
I agree with that.
I understand them and I can deal with them on the PS1 because at least with the first few ones, the first Resident Evil, the first Silent Hill, we're using the D-pad. Analog didn't exist. Analog stick didn't exist yet. That makes sense for me. But after that, it gets a little. Like I was overjoyed because next month after Halloween, we are starting up the Onimusha games on my channel, and those only really get really good once they ditch the tank controls.
What console are they on?
PS2,
Oh,
all four are on PS2.
oh, oh, cool.
It's basically Resident Evil, but with a samurai.
Ah, so it's like got like limited inventory and stuff.
No,
Oh, fair enough.
well, because it's more action than horror. Because you're not some person, you are a master swordsman with a katana. Eventually, like several magic katanas, If
So
want to be accurate.
have you done all 4 like throughout the month or?
No, it's just starting with the first one.
Okay.
Having some problems doing the fourth one because it's a notoriously difficult game to emulate because there's a lot. It is rife with graphical glitches on PCSX2. But I'm trying it with my new computer, might work better. Anyway, Curse the Eye of Isis.
Yes. So yeah, overall, I think the game tried to do a lot of things it wanted to do, but maybe executed it the wrong way. But I don't think it's not up there with my in my list of worst games of all time. I think
Oh, no, it's not even it's not on my list of worst. It's just
I think
is. It's just middle. It's middling. It's
yeah,
low middling.
I think there are far worse games than this that do it a lot worse, and maybe some in better in some ways, but I think don't do it like like this game I don't think pissed me off like as much as like when I like for example when I was trying to do that fucking bridge in Da Vinci Code. Oh,
Like this doesn't even rate as bad as on the same level of bad as Da Vinci Code.
oh no, not at
Like it's
all.
not even it's not even the worst game I've played for a Halloween special because like right off the top of my head, far worse games. Dracula 3. Hmm. You know how much Dracula is in Dracula 3?
He's hardly in it.
2 minutes.
What?
Yeah.
What is
And
the point?
this is not a short game. This is 18 I think
Isn't
18
there a
parts. This is a
puzzle in that
long.
game where if you fail it, you lose?
Well, there's a you have to develop a picture and it will not tell you. And if you open the box while the normal lights are on and not the special red dark room lights, it'll fuck the picture up, but it won't tell you, and you can keep going. Yeah. Mm. From Dusk Till Dawn was worse than this. Um,
What is that like? What game is that? What's that like? That game?
Impossible to get to run. Boring third-person action game.
Is it on PS1?
No, PC exclusive.
That's Till Dawn, you said.
From Dusk Till Dawn, yeah, based on the Robert Rodriguez vampire movie.
I have to see if I can find that on your channel.
The Ring Terror's Realm is definitely worse than this. The Walking Dead Survival Instinct's worse than this. It's just kind of middling.
I have to remember Dusk Till Dawn.
You haven't learned your lesson yet about me telling you not to play a game and you decide to play it anyway?
No,
Did you learn nothing from Da Vinci Code and Die Hard Nakatomi Plaza?
Die Hard Nakatomi Plaza was a special case, and it was nowhere near as bad as fucking Da Vinci Code.
What's your excuse for playing Da Vinci Code after I told you not to? Exactly.
You've got me there. I can't really have a comeback for that. But
oh no, this game that Merrick told me is the worst game ever isn't good. Who could have seen this coming?
all right. You make your point. But anyway, guys, this will come out on the third weekend because I made the first one come out on the first weekend, which is today.
October 1st, Sunday.
Hmm?
October 1st, Sunday.
Yeah. So the first
So
one
they
of
should all
our
come out Sunday.
the first one on our Halloween specials came out on the first. By the time we watch this, it will be 2 weeks' time. So they probably will come out on a Sunday of each time. Maybe the last one might come out on actual Halloween.
But the next one we're doing. Let me just check how many Sundays this month has.
3 more.
Yeah, only. Oh, we got a 5 Sunday month. We can do an extra one. Hey, nice.
Oh,
But
yes.
next we have another Resident Evil clone coming out next.
Which one?
Well, you'll see, won't you?
What you mean on your channel? You mean?
No, the next podcast.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, the thing. Yeah,
No,
not the thing.
Groovy.
Oh yeah, How to the King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I was planning to bring that out on the last weekend, but we can do one in between that.
Okay, so I have an idea for one between those then, if you're down. Well, we'll talk after recording.
Okay.
But anyway, I'm Americ D'Amato.
And I've been Classic Gamer.
You check out Classix Twitch. You can find a link to it in the description below. And check out my channel, Narwhal Entertainment. Got still a lot more content coming out. Fucking mess of content.
Also, be sure to join Discord as well.
Yeah, don't be. If you join Discord though, don't be. And I will say this word. And Classix, you can bleep this if you want, but I feel it's appropriate and gets it across as clearly as possible. If you do decide to join the Discord, don't be a cunt.
Yeah, don't be that word.
It's not as bad a curse word where I am, so I can.
No, I mean, I think it was like that kind of way you said it was kind of like quite not an aggressive tone, very calmer. So it doesn't sound as bad.
Best, I'll say it in exasperation. Like, don't be a cunt. Like when someone's being a cunt. Oh, like, don't be a cunt.
Okay. But yeah, that's been our podcast for this week. So thank you very much for listening and watching, and be sure to let us know what you think in the comments. I will leave links to everything that you need in the description down below with my description of the podcast. And we will see you all in whatever. Well, the next one will be Land of the Dead, that will come out. And then we'll have another one.
I thought Land of the Dead came out last week.
Was it Land of the Dead I put up first?
No, The Thing is the third week.
Oh, yes.
The Thing, Land of the Dead, this. Curse.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting my weeks mixed up. So The Thing, Land of the Dead, which was last week, and then this one. That gives me a chance to edit this one, get it ready for putting it up. And then something in between this and How to the King.
Fun fact. Do you know... Remember the Thing game?
Yeah.
You know who put that out?
Who?
Black Label.
Black Label? What do you mean, developer?
Yeah. You know what else they did?
What?
Did you ever play yourself or see my Let's Play of the Fellowship of the Ring game? The one that's not based on the movie?
Yes.
It's them.
Oh, they did that as well.
Mm-hmm.
How can they do a game that is really good to a game that's not very good?
Which one's not very good?
Lord of the Rings.
I disagree.
Well, yeah.
Can you call a game bad if you can go and find Gollum and he throws a fish at you, and then you fight people with a fish as Aragorn and it does an obscene amount of damage?
I never got the fish weapon, so I can't really say.
That you haven't really played the game.
I didn't know it existed until you told me. Anyway, we're getting off topic.
Fish that went wherever I did go.
Anyway, guys, thank you very much for listening and watching, and we
see you in the
will
next
see
one.
you in the next one.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Bye.
Bye.
Ha 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 ha.